Let's make history. Luckily, I had the experience of working at Def Jam Records in the late 90s. Before that, it was on Elizabeth, but I'm talking 160 Varick. Let's talk about it. So when you go into 160 Varick, you go up on the elevator, you come out, I forget, I think it was like the 12th floor. I honestly forget. The first person you are going to see as soon as you get off the elevator is Sonia, who is actually Ed Lover's sister, his younger sister, as far as I know. And Sonia was very cool. It was cool with Sonia, and she held down the reception area. But she didn't play any games. If you were trying to get up there and you didn't belong there. So once you go inside, there's like a little lobby area, a waiting area. Then once you get inside, you can go. Now, so first of all, Def Jam on 160 Varick was like a donut. It's like an island in the middle, and you can walk around in a huge circle. And so once you go in, if you go to your, straight ahead of you was the conference room. The official conference room where I actually witnessed Jay-Z, Angie Martinez, Irv Gotti, and Ja Rule once playing Monopoly for real money after the offices closed. This actually happened. But you go to your right and you swerve around, you have another smaller conference room that was for the street team, which I was a part of. I was the co-captain of the NYC street team. And you had all your cases of records in there. We would mail them off to DJs. Your cases of stickers or promotional items. Leslie Myers from Laurelton was the captain. And across from that small conference room where we used to work at was Rob Love's second office, where he moved to. It was my boss. Shout out to Rob Love. So you had Rob Love's office. If you keep going straight, you had Jazz Young's office straight ahead. If you went to your right, you had Leo Cohen's office. But before that, you had the cubicle for his assistant, which was Nikki D. Shout out to Nikki D. She was an artist on Def Jam at one point, and put out some great records. But during this period, she was the assistant for Leo Cohen. So you would hit her like a cubicle or office area, and then it was Leo Cohen's office, the check writer. Now, on a side note, there was like another alcove if you like turned and kept going, and that was Violator and Murder Inc. shared that space. R.I.P. Chris Lighty. Okay, so now let's go back to Jazz Young's office. We're out of that alcove. You can make a left. You make a left, and then you had Suzanne Bird's office on the right. It was a bunch of cubicles which lined the walls, and then there were offices behind those cubicles. So you had Suzanne Bird's office on the right. You had Rhonda Cohen's office on the right. On the left, you had Shanita Floyd's office. Then, as I stated, you had Rob Love's original office over there on the left side, across from Suzanne Burge. And you keep going, then you had college radio. Shout out to Eddie Rivera. I haven't seen him in a minute. I hope you're good, brother. You had Eddie Rivera, that was college radio. Shaka. Eddie Rivera worked under Shaka. You had Shaka, and you had Mike Kaiser. And you keep going straight, right? And you go to your right, you had, and D Nakazi. D Nakazi, believe her name was. Very cool. And before you got to Kevin Lau's office, if you kept going straight, it was, if memory serves me correctly, D Walker. Then you make that right, and that was Kevin Lau's office. A lot of action over there. Shout out to Kevin Lau's. And you make a left down that way, was like the law/accounting section. Todd Moskowitz and these type of individuals. You had the mail room, and then also across from the mail room, you had the art room, which was Say, C-E-Y, and a bunch of other individuals, but very creative environment. Eventually, in '99, Def Jam moved to Broadway. I think it was 825 Broadway, up in the 50s, when they did the deal with Universal, and forget it, it was over. It became totally corporatized after that. I made my departure. I was actually fired, to be honest. Going back to 160 Varick, it was the opposite of corporate. It almost felt like a college dorm type of feel. You would have, I've seen Method Man come up on the elevator, Method Man and Redman. This is before they started putting out albums together, by the way. Method Man and Redman on the elevator, smoking blunts. You would have, I've seen the Locks come through there. You see all artists come through there, because even the artists that weren't signed to the label, even artists who weren't signed to the label would come, discuss business. Leor, Kevin Lyles, etc. Good times.